tonight is Richard Adams II, current candidate for City Council.
Good evening, everybody. How you guys doing? My name is Richard Adams II. I'm a current candidate for North Augusta City Council and a current District 5 Planning Commission for Aiken County as well. I just want to speak a little bit about Brandon and his contribution to my campaign. I ran for mayor in North Augusta just over 2 years ago. I knew absolutely nothing about politics and the actual intricacies of how it worked. I had a desire and an extreme passion to serve the people and to bring change, notable change to our community. Brandon brought in the nuts and the bolts. He brought in so much. I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge and information that he brought to me, and he contributed to my campaign. Not only that, but he also pounded the pavement. I just knew at the end of it all, he was going to send me a bill. I just knew it was coming because he worked relentlessly. He worked as if I was paying him, as though he was being compensated. I had made him some type of promise or something if I won the election. And that's one of the things that I'm extremely grateful for and why I'm here tonight to actually speak on his behalf. The state of South Carolina would be under no better hands than that of Brandon as the Democratic chairman. Okay? But absolutely, he's done amazing things. His work speaks volumes. His character also aligns with who we see him as. Oftentimes, sometimes great men are great in the public. You know, when you see a man in a position of leadership and power and his wife and children are present, that kind of lets you know that he's probably the same guy behind closed doors as he is on the public platform. So just want to share a few things about Brandon with you guys tonight. Thank you all for your attention and your time. Thank you for being here.
Our next speaker is Miss Joanne Tillman Hooper.
Good evening, everyone. Let's say Brandon. Brandon. Oh, come on. You can do a little bit better than that. Brandon has been a great inspiration in so many people's lives. And I ran for city council in 2017, not knowing anything about politics, not knowing anything about our city government or anything. I was just one of those people that worked, raised my children, came home, and started it all over again. And Brandon sat down, and he all but ran the campaign and showing me, I'm talking about dragging me. He said, oh, you can do this. Oh, you can do that. And he helped me to get a better understanding of politics. All right. And he helped me to understand that you can get up and you can make a difference. That's right, wrap it up. And I felt so at home with dealing with Brandon, not knowing who he was. He became another one of my children. Even when the Democratic Party would not help me, would not tell me how to run a campaign, Brandon said, he said, don't worry about it, I got you. All right. I got you. Right. Well, Brandon, they wanted to know, I got you. Don't worry about it. And we worked hard. So I feel that we need a new face in our politics, and Brandon is a man for the job. Brandon is the one that he does the demographics. He knows the numbers. When they said I wasn't, I couldn't do it, Brandon said, oh, yes, you can. Don't worry about it. Every time they say, he said, we got this. And not only that, we went out and we walked, Brandon, babies, and I and him, we walked Aiken every day. Yes, we did. Them and my grandchildren and my daughter, y'all hear Mom? We walked, we know what we were doing, but Brandon helped us to understand what importance it is to get up. If you want to see change, you got to get up. That's right. And one thing Brandon does, he gets up and get the job done. He said, okay, we can do this. We got that. And I feel like we need change. And Brandon is the one for the change. Brandon understands politics. Brandon understands what the job entails. So I am so proud to say, you know, they were saying he don't like black women, but I was one of the black women that he took up under his wing. He took me under his wing. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know anything about me. He sat down and he got to know me. And I'm glad that he did get to know me for who I was. And we ran a good campaign. With no money, we ran a campaign. With little to, you know, we're going to say, okay, Brandon, we can't afford to buy all of this expensive stuff. He said, that's all right. We got a computer. We got a computer. And we used the computer to our advantage. And we ran a campaign, and we ran a good, clean campaign. And it was good. And I embrace everything what Brandon is doing. I feel he would serve you in every area that you need for him to serve you in. Let's get behind him. Let's stand with him. It's his time to make history. Thank you.
Now please welcome your candidate for second vice chair, Melina Rodelo.
Let me find out which one this is. Okay, hold on. Let me put this on, guys. I know it's cold, and thank you so much for being here. I know that the lights are blinding me, so bear with me. Okay, so first of all, it was great meeting each and every one of you guys. My name is Melina Rodelo. That was my maiden name. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's been a while. I use she and her pronouns, and I'm running to become your next second vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. I am a Mexican American, and that's also known as a Chicana. And I am a wife, a military mom. I am a financial accountant, and I am an entrepreneur. But I'm also the daughter of immigrants who came to this country in search of a better life. I am too familiar with all the hardships and burdens that a Hispanic and Latino families face every day in South Carolina. And I know this because, you know, I truly say that the problem goes beyond just the language barrier. A lot of the families are experiencing discrimination, financial abuse, and control. Also, the other reason why I know these things is because ever since I was a little girl, I used to advocate for my family and our communities. And, you know, the journey of me being here and this podium and here with you guys tonight has not been easy whatsoever. The privilege of being a social and political ally to the marginalized is an honor, but it also comes with great responsibility and a lot of backlash. My life experiences have given me a different perspective, and it basically makes me want to be a better person. That's why I'm known as being resourceful, tenacious, and unstoppable. Now, that can also label me unpopular amongst those who do not believe in diversity, equality, and inclusion. I'm trying to speak into the microphone.
You're good.
You're good. So everybody wants, are you good with diversity? Are you good with inclusion? All these things, and it's wonderful. But the moment you stand up for it and really, really believe in it, then it becomes a problem.
That's right.
But you know what? It's okay, because I have been shattering glass ceilings and breaking barriers and exceeding expectations all my life. And it's not by any kind of coincidence. It's hard work, dedication, and it's always in hopes of opening the door for the next person. So that is why I became very heavily involved in higher education and higher learning and continuing education. I really wanted to make a good impact on people's lives, one-on-one, just tutoring them, helping them get back into school. And this would allow me to just help our community and not just my family. So I've made it my mission to bring positive changes wherever I go. And I work tirelessly behind the scenes to support democratic initiatives and candidates that I see integrity, courage, and I see a strong vision for all with. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud and just happy to be able to be here with Brandon and Miss Mary and Erica too. So after 20 years of serving my community, I continue to advocate for the underrepresented Hispanic and Latinos who do not have a voice and a vote. And the people, my people continue to be overlooked, and they're still very vulnerable to family separation and systemic inequality. And the South Carolina Democratic Party must not become complacent. We should strive for excellence as we move forward together. We should expand our collaboration, ignite our motivation, and our state is counting on us. The communities are waiting for change that has not come yet. And I know we can do this. So the question is, will you join us as we move forward together? Woo! Yes. So once again, my name is Melina, and I'm running to be your next second vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the first vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party, Mary Geren. Let us get situated. It is. It was in existence. You're right. Yes. Hello, Aiken friends. Hello. What a pretty night. I know you're a little bit chilly, but hey, it's all good. Like Jenny said, just hug on your loved ones. My name is Mary Geren, and I use she, her pronouns. I am running to become the next first vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. I am running because it's time that we move South Carolina Democrats forward together. As a mama, former educator, and political activist, I've fought my entire life, not only for my own well-being, but for that of the least among us. I have 15 years experience in every aspect of local and state politics. Democratic Party politics, that is. Not the other side. Okay. Including volunteering and working on countless campaigns, serving as the proverbial sacrificial lamb, which means I was a candidate not once, but twice. And honestly, in what I think is probably the most conservative little ruby red corner of the state, which is Anderson, South Carolina. And I have also recruited and trained candidates, encouraging them, bringing them into the fold, and spearheaded, this is what I'm most proud of, recently. I had 15 years of experience in education. I taught college English and then had this, going to run for Congress and now going to politics, career change. But what I have been working on for the last few years is actually spearheading the successful overhaul of a small county party that is seeing record growth, fundraising, and community engagement, and that would be the Anderson County Democratic Party. I know we got no Anderson folks here, but can y'all give my Anderson County Democratic Party friends a clap? What we have seen is that community building is the key here. Yes, we care very much about policy. We care about the things that we stand for. But we also need to remember that it is about building our communities up. That's what Democrats do. And we've been successful with that in Anderson. My commitment to this party, with my experience, is obviously unwavering and has yielded positive results time and again. I've been called feisty, scrappy, and extra. That's what my 16-year-old daughter likes to call me, is extra. And I won't deny any of these descriptions, but my record of uniting people from all walks of life, creating something awe-inspiring from nothing, and solving problems will serve South Carolina Democrats well. The South Carolina Democratic Party must genuinely, and wholeheartedly embrace our big tent party reputation. You may be thinking, that's a no-brainer, Mary. We're already doing that. Are we? Are we really a big tent party in South Carolina? I beg to differ. What does a big tent party look like? A big tent party should be one that is inclusive, diverse, and one that truly wants to grow. Sometimes I'm scratching my head like, do we really want to win? Really? I don't know. Currently, the South Carolina Democratic Party does not represent these ideals to its full potential. Not saying it doesn't exist at all. Yes, some inclusion and diversity exists within our party. But as a state party, what are we doing to reach our Native, Hispanic, Asian, Islamic, Jewish, Black, and rural families? In my opinion, not enough. What are we doing to re-engage disillusioned voters who simply chose to sit at home last year, thinking their vote didn't count? In my opinion, not enough. What are we doing to get our youth off the streets and plugged into democracy? Y'all, not enough. Inaction leads to complacency. And that leads to low voter morale, which leads to loss after loss after loss at the ballot box.
That's right.
We need, at this point, to build a coalition across all communities to start winning again. As Democrats, we must unite like never before because our nation, our state, our party, our children are depending on us, not on those MAGA hat Republicans. No, we can't depend on the GOP to do the right thing in the face of fascism. We, as Democrats, are called to defend democracy right here and right now. Now is not the time for infighting, hurt feelings, or finger pointing. Now is the time to dust ourselves off, get to work, and move forward together. Now is the time to grow this party. Now is the time for a big tent revival. How many of you have ever attended a tent revival? A couple of y'all. Man, I spent a lot of hot summer nights under the tent with my daddy, who was a Pentecostal holiness preacher, and his church family. And I'll tell you, I thought, really, you going to make me go to church 7 nights in a row? 7. And we're going to be hot. We can't breathe, you know. And he's like, yes, ma'am. And I will tell you, it sounds exhausting, but at the end of each one of those revivals, we were left just re-energized. We had a renewed spirit and a renewed sense of purpose. And I'm telling you, as South Carolina Democrats, now is the time to not only renew our own spirits, but to also do the hard, and it is hard, y'all. I've been in this for a minute, just like Brandon. But we got to do the hard, consistent work to let others inside our tent. And this kind of reminds me a little bit, we don't have the cover, but we got to let them in and stop kicking them out, okay? We always invited everyone to our tent revivals. Y'all, I'm talking about it didn't matter if they were boy, girl, man, woman, gay, straight, black, white, atheist, felon, or addict, or Christian. Because the idea was to pack that tent out every single night. Because once we were able to get them there, they could feel comfort in knowing that they were seen and loved. It's time we South Carolina Democrats pack out our tent. Y'all, we do this by meeting people where they are, through Democrats' care initiatives, voter registration, voter contact, consistent messaging, and a consistent presence. Y'all, we got to be there in these communities, even when we don't need their money or their vote.
That's right.
I'm talking about, is 2023 not a normal election year? We got to be out in these communities right now.
That's right.
Showing them we love them, we see them. And I am telling you that right now, I am ready for our party to do the job and being the party we have claimed to be for so long. It's time we are who we say we are. So I am asking you to put on your dancing shoes and get ready for a big old tent revival, because that's what's happening. Are y'all with me? You with me? Come on. I'm Mary Geren. I'm running to become your first vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. And now,
Keep the mics on.
it's okay. I honestly have a really
No, the
loud
phone
voice.
can't hear you
Oh.
without it.
Oh, so sorry. I taught. And that's what I'm saying. I've got the teacher voice. But sorry. Shoot. Okay, is that good?
Yeah.
All right, let me say it again. My name is Mary Geren. I'm running to be your first vice chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party. And it is my pleasure to introduce my friend, my brother, my hero. He's a little bit younger than me, but he's still been a mentor to me, and we got into all kinds of good trouble together. And I'm going to tell you what, the next chair of the South Carolina Democratic Party is Mr. Brandon Upson.
Something's gotta change. Something's gotta change right now. Right now. Something's gotta change. Something's gotta change right now. Right now. Hear a whole lot of talking, but we gotta get walking. Right now. Right now. I see what you're rapping.
All right. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Lord, I think I gotta take it back to 2008. Fired up?
Ready to go!
Fired up?
Ready to go!
Hey, if it's cold, you gotta heat it up, y'all. So, I want to thank y'all so much for being here. I know the sun is going down, the temperature has dropped about 10%, but there's an inferno burning inside of me right now, so I am steaming. And I want you to join me. First, I got to give honor to God for allowing this moment to happen. You know, the old folks would say he's preparing you for such a time as this, and that time is now. And in my prayers, I ask God to make me ready, to make me everything I need to be for the clear and crisp vision that you're giving me. If I can see this thing this clear, God, don't let me lose. I got to thank my wife for being here and making all this possible. My children, Cosette, Sophie, and Patrick. Got to thank my mother. If it wasn't for her, I definitely wouldn't be here. I got to thank all my ancestors, named and unnamed, of which shoulders and foundation I stand on today. And I got to thank all of y'all who have come from near and far, from all over Aiken County to be here, because tonight, for the first time in a long time, I'm back home, y'all. Right. So I'm happy to be home and to share this moment with you, because what we here today for is something that I believe will inspire the historians and even the witnesses of this moment to etch this day in history. It is the day of which will be pivotal for our Democratic Party across South Carolina when we change the direction of this state and position ourselves to push back and push forward so that we can lift those up who've been waiting for us. Like I said, not just me, but we are prepared for such a time as this. And I thank you so much for being here. You know, I grew up on Horry Street. Here in Aiken, we say Horry Street. Down in Horry County, they say Horry County. So the first time I went down there in 2010, a whole room, about 200 people corrected me. So it wasn't, you know, the brightest moment for me. But here's the thing. Every generation is faced with choices and challenges. As a young kid growing up right here, my family had to make a lot of choices because we faced a lot of challenges. Being up there, they called us a little house on the hill. But at times, when it rained outside, there was just as much water coming in the house than there was dropping on the ground outside. You know, I was a kid going around getting a bucket so that it could collect the water. I remember my mother working 2 and 3 jobs. Y'all know, Sasha, you were there with us. When she would get off one job just in time to get us off the bus so she can go to the next job. And go to the next job and get off just enough to get us back on the bus to go to school the next morning. You know, my grandmother pitched in and helped. She was the model of strength, Lily Gray Upson, who I named my oldest daughter after. And then my great-grandmother, Sophie Upson, who I named my youngest daughter after, was born and raised in Edgefield, South Carolina. Her mother died when she was only 6 years old. Her aunt and her grandmother, who was a freed slave right here in Edgefield, South Carolina, used to tell her stories about being whipped on the same property, the same land that at that time they were sharecropping on. My grandmother's father was blinded by a beating, and she remembers going to the front door with her aunt and her grandmother and standing in the face of hatred and telling the KKK at their front door that they were not going to get her father. This man, who was legally blind, grew produce and couldn't sell it in the same town he lived in. He walked from Edgefield to Aiken to sell those products so he can make money for his family and walk back. That's my lineage. Those women gave me the audacity to believe that I had power, authority, and dominion over everything that I touched. And you know, it's with that same audacity that I show up here today. That same audacity that Mary and Melina and Erica show up here with me as a slate, because we have the audacity to believe that we cannot just change the South Carolina Democratic Party,
That's right.
but we can change South Carolina.
That's right.
You know, Cicely Tyson said that challenges make you discover things that you really never knew. And James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. Now, my grandmama, she would say, you can keep sweeping the dirt under the rug, but at some point in time, you're going to have to address that lump right there.
All right.
And the lump here in South Carolina is cognitive dissonance. And I'll say that again. Cognitive dissonance is the lump under the rug of South Carolina. Now, let me tell you a little bit what that is, because I had to look it up too, y'all. So the cognitive dissonance theory defines the tension that is created when one's actions are inconsistent with their thoughts and beliefs. So let's put this plain. So when Republicans say they're the party of freedom and liberty, but deny women their freedom to make their own choices for their own health care, That's cognitive dissonance. When Republicans say that they're the party for the working class, but then they fight and wage war against unions and organized labor, that's cognitive dissonance. And when we advocate for criminal justice reform and reparative and redemptive policies, but then we ostracize, criticize, and push out people because of their past and limit their futures within our own party, that's also cognitive dissonance. When we tear down people, when we talk about one another, when we fight to the death in our Democratic primaries and then tiptoe through the general election so we don't hurt the feelings of the Republican voters, that is also cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is also when we say that we want to elevate black voices, but then we run to deny black leadership. That is also cognitive dissonance.
That's right.
And here's the thing. Yesterday, a major landmark was accomplished. A flag was planted in the nation, in America. Our president, Joe Biden, said he wanted to make South Carolina the first Democratic primary in the nation. And yesterday, they voted to make that happen.
All right.
But let me be clear. We can be first in the nation, but we don't deserve to be last on everything else that matters.
Yes,
Amen.
sir. Thank you.
Amen.
We don't deserve to be last in public education.
Come on with it.
We don't deserve to be last in the worst for domestic violence against women.
That's right.
We don't deserve to be last in poverty and affordable health care and affordable housing.
That's right.
We don't deserve to be last. And because of the cognitive dissonance of this state and what we are facing right now, we keep losing. Loss after loss after loss. And I want to make sure that y'all understand I'm not blaming any one person on any of this. I'm not bashing any group of people. I'm just tired of losing. Because at the end of the day,
Come on.
when Democrats lose,
Come on, Liz.
we don't just lose the election in November. When Democrats lose, more children go to bed starving in poverty.
That's right.
When we lose, women lose their rights to their own body and their autonomy. When we lose, my daughters lose their rights. They lose more rights than even what their grandmothers had. When we lose, y'all, the most vulnerable groups of our country and our state and our communities, they lose too. Because under Republican rule, they want complete and utter domination. Let's not fool ourselves, y'all. In 2021, well, let me go back even further. In 2020, here in South Carolina, we lost 3 state senators. We lost 2 state representatives and a host of city council members and mayors across the state. Then we turned around in 2021. We lost nearly 30 local municipal Democrats. And then last year, we experienced the lowest black voter turnout in a generation. So that means in the last 3 years, right here in South Carolina, we've lost nearly 60 Democratic incumbents all around this state. So that means communities are losing. Communities are hurting. Children are going to bed hungry. People are working in restaurants that they can't afford to eat in.
That's right.
Folks are working in hotels that they can't afford to sleep in.
That's right.
And folks are making the decision of whether they can buy their prescription or feed themselves or their children.
right.
And that is wrong.
It's wrong.
So, like Mary said, it's time for a revival. We can't wait another day, another month, or another year. And my grandfather was a pastor in the Church of God in Christ. So I also know what those good old tent revivals mean. And when we revive this South Carolina Democratic Party, when we come together to move this party forward, it's going to look different. Because when we revive this party is going to embrace labor and renew our winning coalition. Because you can't go anywhere in this country and find Democrats winning without the support of labor. And we have to stop, as a party, being ashamed and afraid to support unionized labor in this state out of fear of, again, being scared of Republicans. Folks are moving to South Carolina on their union pensions. And because they don't see the presence of a Democratic Party, they start voting as Republicans. We got to stop that. A revived Democratic Party rebuilds the grassroots infrastructure so that we can fight in every county, challenge every race, and earn every single vote. A revived South Carolina Democratic Party is committed to ensuring that black women are seen, that black women are heard, and black women are valued beyond their vote. Because at the end of the day, when we fight for inclusion, equity, and an expansion of this thing we call the Big Tent Party, it includes everyone, and they are valued and feel valued, including the inclusion of our Hispanic and Latinx brothers and sisters. We can support that group of our citizens while trying to acquire the reparations that the descendants of slaves deserve in this state.
That's right.
So here's what we're going to do. Because with this slate that I have, y'all heard them, they're amazing. The only ones that's missing is Erica Sampson. But Mary ran for Congress up in Anderson. She ran one of the most dynamic campaigns and shocked this entire state. She may be only 4 foot something, but she is a mountain lion. I'm so honored that you're making this journey with me. Melina is a first-generation American who, as you've heard, has done amazing things with her family. When we get elected,
that's right,
Melina will be the very first Hispanic or Latinx person to sit in leadership in our party's history. How about that? Man, Erica, let me tell y'all a little bit about Erica. Erica is the president of the Low Country Young Democrats. She's a black woman down there who is doing amazing things. She's a single mother. She has dedicated and sacrificed her time, her energy, and her talent to expand access for affordable housing, for public education. She's been on the front lines for women's rights and criminal justice reform. She is such a dynamic young person, and I'm just honored to have her on my team. Now, these amazing working women, all are mothers, all have given of themselves. And I wouldn't be the son of Melissa Upson, the grandson of Lily Upson, the great-grandson of Sophie Upson, if I didn't bring these amazing women with me and honor that contribution, that value that's etched on my spirit. If I didn't do that, I would be doing this lineage of great women a huge disservice. And I want to make sure in every side of this state, we elevate women and empower them, not for their volunteer hours, but for their leadership. So, we started this campaign yesterday. And yesterday, they started attacking us.
Yep.
And there's a quote that says, when you got the law on your side, or you're winning, you hammer the issues. When you're losing, you hammer the table. And I've been hearing these tables hammering since 11:30 yesterday morning. You know, if they weren't afraid of what we could do, if they weren't afraid of our organizing abilities, if they weren't afraid of the army and the movement that they see us building already, they wouldn't be throwing the spaghetti on the wall to see what sticks.
That's right.
You know, I am so confident in our ability to win. I encourage them to continue to show people who they are. Because
That's right.
at the end of the day, we're going to run a race that you can be proud of. We're going to run a race that I won't be afraid for my mama or my children to see.
Right.
We're going to run a race that touches every corner of this state and motivates and inspires folks to rejoin the Democratic Party. Because here it is. We're in the party that is losing money, losing people, losing support, losing races. Any other organization you would say was dying. But I can tell you today that I learned in those tent revivals that no matter how far you go in the wrong direction, how many times you get knocked down, you can always turn around and get back up again. And as a party, with our leadership, we will get back up and we will move forward together. So I'm asking you to join us. Join this movement. Expand our network. Call your friends and become delegates to your county party, because when they announce this convention, we're showing up to win, and we're showing up with our army. There is nothing on earth or in hell that's going to stop us from winning this race. And I'm excited because if you ever even sat down at a card table with me, I don't like to lose. And I see the victory. I wake up in the morning seeing it very clearly, and it looks like you, because I have faith that you can do what it needs to be done. I'll leave with this, and I ask Mary and Melina to join me. I was listening to my Bible, the audio while I was driving, and just the story of David, from when they went to David's father because they were looking for the one ordained by God. And David's father went through the whole list of his sons and was trying to anoint them with oil to see which one God had ordained for that moment. And he didn't even expect that the youngest one that was out in the fields was the one that was ready for that moment. And then when they found David, and you skip forward a little bit, and Goliath is taunting the king and taunting and scaring the people and intimidating folks. And little David said, well, when I was out there tending to the sheep, I would have to fight the lions. I would have to fight the bears. I can do this. I might be little, but I've taken on the biggest threats and protected the sheep. And they said, well, if you want to die, go ahead. If you think you can do it, go on out there. And they put the armor on David. And David said, I'm not used to this. Take this armor. This is too heavy. This is too bulky. I'm used to being free. And they said, well, take this sword. I got some stones. What? Stones? For him? And David went out there, and y'all know the rest of the story. And here's the thing. David picked up 5 stones off the ground, but it only took 1. And in this race, we could win. It only takes one of us to show that we're brave enough, bold enough to step in the face of the biggest challenges that we can ever imagine. But when we step up, I'm asking y'all to stand up with us. Because when we show up together, we're stronger, when we stand up and we rise together,
That's right.
we can move faster. And when we join this party together, we can move it forward.
That's right,
I
man.
thank you. I encourage you to join us. Join this movement, and let's win this thing. Thank y'all for being here.
That's
I
right.
thank you so much. Thank you. All right.
We can move mountains if we do it together, y'all. We can break down and rewrite the law if we do it together, y'all. We can build bridges, race to race if we do it together, y'all.
Everybody, we have someone there.
Giving the world